There, I started streaming and that made a horrible noise.
Sounds right.
I'm sure people are enjoying that.
Oh, Narlin rolled 35 dice. That's great.
And only got 14 successes.
That's not terrible.
That's a 40% success rate.
That is true. I'll take it.
What are you doing? Oh, Jesus.
Now I just have to get my intelligence to 35, and I'll be set with my rolls.
Gnosis takes 8 for 1 new dot.
Well, I was doubting my choice of imbued item because I thought I had a good idea, but I couldn't think of what it would do. So,
Okay.
I just want more gnosis.
That's more gnosis is good too. Believe me, gnosis is a wonderful approach to take.
So I have 2 points in imbued item. How many points in gnosis can I get if I just swap them?
Well, possibly none, but let's look here. Drew, what are you doing?
When? Where? When? Huh?
You percussing over there?
Yeah, perhaps. I'm playing with a Japanese band.
So,
as you do,
as sometimes you do. So, okay, specifically with regard to merits and gnosis, you put 2 dots in a merit. You're saying, correct?
Yes.
And when you do the mage template quick, setup thing, it says you can purchase. You can spend 3 of your 7 merit points for Gnosis 2, or 6 of your 7 for Gnosis 3.
Oh, so I would have to get rid of something else too.
Yeah. Well, you can take your 2 merit points back and figure out something else to spend them on. What are you doing over there? Jesus Christ. Okay.
All right, I gotta.
Let me start up. Oh my God! Let me start the mood music. All right. I forgot I need to.
Oh shit! So now, do I have to have another AXP log? I'm gonna do that. AXP. I'm adding it.
I don't know. Do you need another AXP log?
Yeah, apparently I do, and I need to apparently add. Shit.
What's happening right now, Drew? What's an AXP log?
For our AXP that we're earning.
Oh, Arcane XP. Yes, I get it.
Yeah, it's a thing that you created.
I forgot to set up the scary music, so give me a sec here. That's way too loud. We'll turn you down a bit. Okay, we're good. Hey, Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, yay.
Let's talk mage. Who wants to start us off with a synopsis of our last session?
I don't remember anything, so not me.
Not a whole lot happened.
I just remember it wasn't very much. Yeah, I was sitting around trying to figure out what the hell happened, and we convinced Fluke not to kill the guy.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that that's worth an experience point, but...
And he got magic legs.
And he got magic legs, yeah.
Lieutenant Dan, you got magic legs.
And his name's not Lieutenant Dan.
How come?
It's funny
Okay, you have session 5 listed, but I don't have a session... That's the same date as session 4. Did I miss something?
What the hell are you talking about? It's probably just a typo, Drew.
Well, I don't understand how... What the fuck?
You sound really
Never mind,
confused.
we're fine.
You sound really confused. What's happening right now?
I got it figured out. We're okay.
But now I have to go see what the fuck you were talking about.
Nothing. Don't worry about it. I had session 4 synopsis on 12/17/07 or 12/17, but that was true.
Where is that listed?
Just
on his character sheet.
Nobody cares about anything, okay?
Nobody cares. You got that right.
Why is this?
All right, I'll do the synopsis then. So you awoke from your supernal visions. 3 out of the 4 of you groggily and with relatively little pain 1 out of 4 of you in tremendous pain, and some number of seconds before the rest. And that, of course, is Sammy. Sammy forced himself out of his supernal vision, dream quest, and there's a lot of people typing right now.
It's true.
Or maybe it's just Drew on his extremely clattery
I'm not
keyboard.
typing at all. That's somebody else.
Shale, did you get a clattery keyboard?
Nope.
Somebody's typing. Okay, nobody's typing, I guess. That's fine. Or nobody wants to own up to it. You were... Oh, now somebody's trying to type quietly. And it's sort of working. So you all woke up. You saw Kingmaker pinned to a tree. Fluke was in the process of burning him to ash angrily. That was the session before last. Last session, you, yes, convinced Fluke that maybe Kingmaker was worth keeping around. But that was after a solid hour of me explaining how to be mages and more specifically, Fluke teaching you some things. Sammy was rubbed a little raw by his encounter with Kingmaker, who left him half awakened with a body that was slowly turning to embers. And he was the only member of the group who agreed with Fluke that Kingmaker should be disposed of. Sammy felt very strongly, in fact, the Kingmaker should be disposed of.
Yes.
Sammy dashed down the street to steal a car and drive away. He was so angry about the fact that Kingmaker was being kept alive. But then he returned, and all was well.
Why did he return?
Because he forgot to bring the keys with him.
So he failed.
Yes.
He's a failure.
He's a failure.
He forgot that he had larceny and things that he could have probably stolen the vehicle, but he just walked back begrudgingly instead.
He probably could have hotwired it, yeah, but he forgot to try. So the scouring effect of Kingmaker's trap that was slowly killing you all was sort of like a siphon. It remained in effect on its own inertia. So even when Kingmaker was in terrific distress, it still didn't stop, and Sammy kept burning. Sammy had to stop the burning himself by raising his magic armor spell, and that's something everyone else did reflexively while they were tripping balls in the Supernal world.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Great job,
Good
everyone.
job, us.
Yeah.
Yay.
And so what he was doing there was scouring you and turning your bodies into mana, and he reaped far more mana from that process than he could hold. And it seems that some of it has crystallized on the tree and on the ground around where he was immobilized. Liuv, or Albacore, was curious about that last week, as I recall.
Yes, he sure was.
Yes.
I want to go look at that stuff or figure out what the hell it is and take some with me.
Eat it like a popsicle.
I want to give
Sammy
it to
lick it.
Sammy to suck on.
Yeah.
Sammy hates all of you.
Well, before we get to that, Fluke, she waved her hand and produced some magic feat for poor Kingmaker, so he can now stand and move around a bit. And he's still alive, and you're still keeping him with you. So if you go and take a look at those crystals, Fluke says, "Hey, don't play with that stuff."
Well, why not?
Well, I mean, you can play with it if you want to. You just probably shouldn't.
What is it?
Should we leave it alone or just?
Well, it's TAS. It's pure mana. It's solid mana. You maybe, yeah, sure. Maybe you could do something with it, I guess. But the rest of you, stay away. Albacore. She's talking to Albacore. It's solidified mana, and a prime mage knows how to turn it back into unsolid mana and use it.
Oh, well, I as I understand it, I just used some mana, so maybe I should try to do that.
Oh, you want to try casting a spell? I see.
If that's what that means, sure.
Let's see. You just want to pick some of this stuff up and shove it in your pockets?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
How many dots of prime magic do you have?
3.
3. Oh, so you can create tasks at 3 dots. You can dissolve tasks and turn it back into mana. And I believe I'd have to read the full description of the spell, but I believe you could probably suck it back out of the area. What you would do is you would dissolve the tasks, and it would turn into mana in just the vicinity, like at a hallow, and then you could just sit and meditate for a moment and regain it naturally. Suck it right back into you.
Oh, let's do that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Let me think here. I think. Oh, okay.
Now wait a minute. So there's imbue mana, which gives mana to another living creature.
The music is really loud, she says.
Is there a level 2 that is like for use it myself?
Oh yeah. Sorry, one sec.
I think once you dissolve it, you can just use it.
So normally when you absorb mana from your environment, so the stream is not hearing that. You can just mute this guy. There. Anyway, I was going to look up. So normally at a hallow, you meditate and you regain mana because there's just ambient mana hanging out in the tapestry in the area. If you've got mana in solid form in your pockets, you can, wish upon a star and turn it back into mana just in the tapestry in the area, and then you should be able to vacuum it up with your same methodology just by.
What about channel mana there?
Channel. Okay, let me look that up. Prime. Is that 3 dots or 2 dots?
3 dots, page 224.
224.
It says gain
channel
mana from tasks.
Oh yeah, well that's a much easier way of doing it. So the mage can channel mana from a hallow without needing an hour-long oblation. So yes, normally you would meditate at a hallow for an hour and regain 1 mana, or however much mana there is in the hallow anyway. Or he can take it from tasks or an enchanted item. So you make a roll, and each success allows the mage to channel 1 mana point from a source to his own mana pool up to your maximum. So yeah, that's even easier. If you've got the tasks sitting around,
that.
Yeah, you just you push a button and just it's yours now. So you need to roll Gnosis plus Prime.
Gnosis plus Prime. All right, so 4. And I failed.
Okay, well that little chip of tasks. Luckily, it was a small one. It turns into blue smoke and dissipates, and it's gone. But you've got more.
Can I try again?
There's little bits of so let's see, between the 4 of you who were under this spell, you probably all had around 8 mana as a baseline, and he sucked, a bunch of mana out of you. And you ended up with your mana pools restored when you woke up and came back from the Supernal world. So that's all just a bunch of free mana. He probably took like half of your mana, so there's probably like 16 mana worth of task crystals sitting around here. That might be a little high. Let's say 8 mana worth of task crystals sitting around here. So you just burned 1, so there's 7 left if you want to try again.
All right.
Oh, damn.
Oh.
3 successes.
Success.
Well, how much mana are you missing?
I am missing 1.
All right, so we'll say you just pop 1 little crystal into your mouth and chew on it a little bit, and your mana's back.
Delicious.
Hooray!
Prime mages, baby. They're good at mana.
Can I help these guys out in any way? Anybody else missing mana?
There's another
I don't
one.
need
I'm
it.
missing 2.
Oh, dang. You're missing. Yeah, you did some healing.
Yes.
So you
Dude's
can
missing some.
you can give your mana. You can use imbue mana, which is also 3 dots, to give your mana to another creature. Let me look up the details there.
Ooh, it says we must touch.
Yeah, you're
How
gonna
must
have
we
to
touch?
touch him. You're gonna have to touch him.
Come here, Dewey. Let me touch you.
So you would roll Gnosis plus Prime, and you can give mana to Dewey at a rate of 1 per success.
All right.
Okay,
Huzzah.
there you go. You can
There,
give him
have
2 of your
two.
mana, and then you can burn up 2 more task chips if you want to. Boy, you're going through these at a terrific rate. This is great. You're down to 6. You want to regain your 2 mana from 2 more of them? Or
Oh, so
roll
that
to
took
attempt?
so that took me 2 of them, 2 of my own mana that I gave to him.
So
is what it
far
was.
you've
you gave me 2 of your mana, and then you can.
yes. So far you have burned a task chip to no effect. Then you burned another one and regained a mana. Then you gave 2 of your mana to Dewey. So now
So
you're
there's
down
still
2 mana,
6 chips.
and there's 6 chips left.
Do these? Can I easily carry these things?
Yes.
I'm just gonna carry those with me.
Okay. Good idea. So make a note somewhere
in
on your
fanny
character
pack.
sheet or in your inventory. Say you have 6 task crystals in your fanny pack.
All right.
Smoothie Cold says, I haven't seen any of this since the first session, so I'm going to be very confused. Yeah, you're going to have to catch up, friendo. All right, so Fluke, yeah, she heaved a great sigh of disgruntlement at your decision to keep Kingmaker alive, and she cobbled together some artificial legs, and he's quieted down significantly at this point. He seems to be getting a sense of exactly how badly outclassed he is by Fluke.
I have a question for Fluke.
Sure.
From earlier on, I don't know if why she said it, or somehow she said that she was an assassin, or we determined she was an assassin. I would like to know, is she like an assassin just for fun, or does she work for somebody?
Well, first of all, Kingmaker's the one who told you she was an assassin.
Right, okay.
And he said it in an accusatory tone. She said nothing to disagree with him.
Okay, well, okay, Kingmaker said this, so I would just like to have her clarify, or attempt to clarify what he meant by that, and if it's true, and if it's what the deal is with that.
She seems affronted
Before
by the way you've phrased your question. What an assassin for fun? That's called a serial killer.
Well, okay, yeah, I'm not the one who said it.
She said, I told you I work for an organization that keeps magic secret.
Okay,
And-
so what's that?
You want to talk about this now? Can we please walk while we talk?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Where are we headed?
Where
Up-
are we? I don't even remember.
She points straight up the mountain. She just wants to go straight up the mountain.
Is it a trail that we can drive? Because now that we've... I'm asking, because now that we've freed up this whole Kingmaker bullshit, is the truck going to start? Can we get back in it?
Kingmaker says,
I really excited.
I had nothing to do with your truck. I didn't touch your truck.
All right, well, that's one more point for me not wanting to murder you.
Oh, well, I'm honored, newbie.
Oh, burn.
Oh,
All right, let's go. Let's walk and talk. I want
All
to
right.
hear the story.
We're going to do an Aaron Sorkin walk and talk.
Yeah.
So we're continuing to walk. Where does she want to go? Where are we going?
Well, I'm still tracking Augustus.
Okay.
He's up the mountain. That's what we're
Okay.
here for, right?
Yep.
We didn't come here to meet Kingmaker.
okay.
All right.
Hi
so
ho, hi ho.
Let Kingmaker go in the front.
Hey ho. He actually gravitates toward the back.
Well, I'm gonna push him toward the front.
Gravitate him toward the front.
All right. So as you walk up the trail, Fluke says, tells you that Mage Society is organized. It's not just a bunch of half-cocked morons like this asshole walking around doing whatever the hell they feel like. There's a government. There's politics. There are whole sects that take responsibility for different aspects of keeping magic a thing, rather than simply filling the world with dragons.
Okay.
And she works for an organization called the Guardians of the Veil, who believe that they're sort of like, back in the days of Atlantis, they were the secret police. or at least that's what they've descended from. These days, the Guardians of the Veil just sort of they're like internal affairs, or the FBI or something. They at least that's how they consider themselves. They police other mages' actions and keep them from doing anything too overt or too vulgar.
So I have a question here. You, Fluke, you seem to indicate that what's this? Albacore could touch the mana, but the rest of us should stay away from it. What? Why were you so? Why did you direct him? He could touch it and told us to stay away.
Well, because he's got some ability with prime magic. The rest of you would just waste the stuff.
Okay, so you can recognize the types of magic that each of us have.
Yes, and as the group walks up the trail, she evaluates each of you, and tries to suss out what your arcana are, and share a little information. She has some vested interest in you being more useful.
Is she willing to share what arcana she is?
Well, she says she has some expertise in, she's canny about it. She's cagey. She's trying to be clever, but she's a terrible liar. You know that about her. She says she has some ability with prime, and some ability with fate, and some ability with time magic, and a few other things. But those are her primary abilities.
Well, she said she was a prime mage earlier, so that's okay.
And that was the truth.
Has the group? I don't recall. Have we talked about our experiences during that awakening amongst each other?
No.
You tell me. Do you as you walk? Do you want to? These are kind of personal experiences and highly symbolic and metaphorical. But if it would be like talking about your dreams, in a psychological support group.
Okay. Well, so I'm just thinking about this as we're walking. So I'm an inquisitive kind of guy. So what was going on in you guys'? I was stuck in a damn 1930s bullshit movie. And I just absolutely refused to proceed forward to through the land of Oz. So it was just I could not let go of the fact that I was trapped and just experience it, and that's I think why I decided to break out. How was it for you guys?
I had to look at all the stupid bugs in your guys' code.
You
I
fixed
don't
some of
even-
them.
I fixed some of them, yes.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I had the grease mobile fumigated a long time ago. All right.
Well, Albacore, Albacore and Dewey may not want to share, but real quick here, as an aside out of character, I have something I'd like to talk about with each of them. Albacore has an artifact. Now he's taken an artifact with his merit points. Is that right?
That is
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
So I mean, you can keep that concealed from the other characters if you feel like it, but and it might be wise to do so. Frankly, I mean, Fluke at this point doesn't know you've got this chalk,
right.
and neither does Kingmaker, and
I just don't want to talk about it.
that's fine. And Dewey, he's got a familiar now, and likewise, you can choose not to share that information.
Yeah, I'm going to keep that because I'm still not even fully sure what it is yet.
Yeah,
But,
it may
I know
not.
I know it's kind of a thing, but I'm not. I want to suss it out with myself before I tell everybody what's going on.
Well, we'll get to that later then. But for now, you choose not to.
Yeah, I guess the thing that Dewey would say about these experiences that it brings up he's been such a believer the whole time, and he's just now what he
It's
like,
all
he's
what
I
I
fucking knew it. It's like he fully dove in. He's like, I knew it. It was the most amazing thing.
And now I'm a mage. I can do
right.
kung fu.
I have no idea what I'm doing,
know
but
Kung Fu.
it just fully makes me realize that everything I was always thinking was real, and it's here and it's amazing, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
So Fluke is nodding as you all share your experiences, and she just shrugs and says, "Yeah, that sounds like the same sort of weird bullshit the supernal realm likes to show a mage. None of us are going to be able to decipher what the hell happened to you. It's very personal."
So we were kind of forced into that.
Yes.
Is this some Fluke? Were you forced into your awakening?
Absolutely not. It's very.
Did you have an awakening?
Of course.
Or were you born woke?
No. I was born just like the rest of you, and I awoke. Well, I awoke.
So what
So
is
of your
the
own free will then? Not
what? Yeah, well, I guess what's the standard way in which most mages awaken? Is there a standard way, or is it various per person, or is there?
It varies. For some, it's gentle. Some awaken overnight in their sleep. Some awaken while they're watching a movie they love. Some are held captive for a week without food or water, and awaken as a result of their distress. Some awaken during a car accident. Some awaken when they're nearly killed in a bar fight. Some
Okay, I got it.
awaken.
It's all different.
Yeah.
I didn't hear Hogwarts in there.
Hogwarts is not a
disappointed.
thing, you asshole.
Hey, I don't know. This is new to me. I'm just making sure.
So going back, Fluke, going back to this Guardians of the Veil thing that you're a part of. You said there's many different organs. How big is this? Is yours? What does it? What's your? Where are you?
Well,
I mean, do you have an actual like jurisdiction, or do you guys just kind of wherever?
yes and no. Every major metropolitan area, just like there's a local government that you're familiar with councilmen and mayors and legislators, judges, police. There's a parallel concilium of mage society, and just like the population density is greater and governments spring into being to keep them all in line and organized and happy, the same happens with mages.
Okay.
So I'm not confined to a particular area, but I do spend most of my time in one area because I live there, just like you live where you live. So she explained a lot of what I explained last week, and she tells you that you're young mages and your casting is instinctual. So mainly she's focusing on the history and structure and most of all terminology of magic so that you can begin to speak her language and know what she means when she tells you something. And you already know some spells at this point. You've even cast some, but you have no idea whether they have names. I've told you guys what rotes are, but she says that rotes are tremendously valuable, and she knows a bunch of rotes, and she stares at Kingmaker for a moment and says he probably knows a few too. If any of you want to try and learn a couple of rotes, maybe while we walk here, we can teach one another. Spells require a mental image, and whether you form that by chanting or making hand gestures, much of your early training is going to be learning not to accidentally shoot minor spells all over the place every time you panic or daydream.
So yeah, let's practice then.
That's what she wants to work on while you're walking. So the first thing she suggests is that you each. So the first thing you learn in an arcanum is the ability to sense things in that arcanum. So she suggests that let's just go around the circle, and see what we can sense.
All right.
like Sammy. He can. Well, you all know what your primary arcana are. If you want to, and if you look at the spell reference, you know what the general shape of the sight spells are. They're the ones in one dot with the eyeball next to them. Those are the vision spells. They give you some sensory abilities. You might want to cast those and turn them on and in one of the arcana you think is going to be useful right now and see what you sense in the area.
I would like to try Sybil's Sight.
Sybil's Sight is fate, correct? Yes.
Yep.
All right, why don't you roll Gnosis plus fate? Oh, I heard a whole bunch of dice. 4 successes. Damn, man. Okay. You look around with your Sybil's Sight up, and you see a layer of structure on reality that you'd never really noticed before. It's a little bit warbly around here, like the destiny of the surroundings is in flux. But as you look if you look back down the mountain toward Sudbury, it only gets worse down there. Like things are very flexible. There's a lot of possibilities floating around. As you look up the mountain, things become much more concrete, and it's like looking at, bricks, a brick wall. Anyone else?
I'd like to do sense conscious.
Sense consciousness, which is mind.
Mind.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and roll Gnosis plus mind? Oh wow, another 4 successes. So you sense minds. You sense obviously your little group here. You sense Dewey and Sammy and Albacore, and you sense Fluke and although she seems muffled, and you sense Kingmaker certainly. There are all sorts of small minds around. There are little earthworms in the ground, and there are a few birds here and there, and small mammals. Within sensory range, that's about all you can sense, but there are some faint traces of more minds further up the mountain. You're not even sure how many, because it's so faint. It's like listening to an air horn from 15 miles away, but there's definitely something up there.
Is this something I'm going to have to cast like every 5 minutes?
No. If you cast these spells now, they stay up for, I think, a whole scene or something like that.
Yeah.
Let me look it up real quick. Like Third Eye, for example, in Mind is... Or rather... Oh, did I get the wrong... Oh, you cast Sense Consciousness. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's not the Mage Sight ability. So Sense Consciousness, which I just did describe, you sensed all your consciousnesses.
That's Third Eye.
Third Eye is the one that gives you Mage Sight. But let me look at Sense Consciousness, since what I'm looking up right now is durations. All these spells tend to last longer than no time at all. But so Sense Consciousness has a prolonged duration of 1 scene. So now that this is up, you've essentially established a boundary around yourself where no thinking mind can enter without you being aware of it.
That's cool.
Man, it's a safety zone. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll do my Pulse of the Living World.
Pulse of... That sounds like probably life. I'm going to just guess.
Yes, sir.
Let's see here. Pulse of the Living World. All right. Gnosis plus life.
Gnosis plus life. 2 there.
Oh my goodness. Wow, a couple 10s in there. 3 successes. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 life signs in the immediate vicinity. One of them is flickering a little bit, which would be Kingmaker.
What exactly? Well, I just looking at it, says detect mystic anim. What is mystic animation?
Mystic, and that's a great question. Let me look that
Well,
up.
that's what it says in the description. So I was just wondering.
Yeah, that's my sentence fragment that I used to try and... please treat this spreadsheet as nothing more than a reference, but...
Right, that's fine.
Since Life says in the book, it's handy to know the proximity of living creatures, blah, 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 blah. But, so it does what you would expect Sense Life to do. But,
Gotcha.
oh, sorry, no. I'm reading Sense Life. Again, I'm looking at the wrong spell. Pulse of the Living World...
I can roll both.
The main reason to put these vision spells up is that it gives you mage sight. But in addition to mage sight, each of these has some little tweak that makes them, useful in an arcana specific way. Pulse of the Living World. Sense the presence of mystic vital animation in the area, effectively reading resonance as a function of reality's living energies. That doesn't say I don't understand what the fuck that means.
Ask Fluke.
I would... Well, you have Mage Sight now, and if you'd like to cast Sense Life, you might get a little more concrete information.
Same thing.
All right, yeah, Gnosis plus Life. You don't sense any mystic animation in the area. But with Sense Life, you sense 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. One of the life signs is flickering a little bit, and that's Kingmaker. He's in pain. Yep. And then a little further out, with one success, you're definitely limited to sensory range. But flickering in and out of sensory range, you note what seem like really very feral life signs. Ooh. Primitive, but they're popping in and out of your range all around you as you move up the trail.
I have a question.
We're being followed.
Yes, you are. You do seem to be being followed.
Oh, great. I have a question. Does that particular spell also detect animal life?
Yes.
And there's none?
No, there is. Shale can sense life.
Yes.
There's the same earthworms and birds that Timmy was sensing their minds earlier. Shale can sense the tiny little bits of life around as well, but those are like motes of dust compared to the six of you and the larger life forms that are at the edges of his sensory range.
I would be a lot more terrified if there was nothing else alive anywhere. So
well, for now, yeah, there's still little bits of life.
Good. Resolved. Moving on.
Yeah, that would be scary, wouldn't it?
It would.
I'll go ahead and cast my Supernal Vision.
Supernal Vision. Now, let me look before I just assume that that's your Mage Sight spell.
It is my Mage Sight spell.
Okay, I've made that mistake twice already. So, Gnosis plus Prime.
Gnosis plus Prime.
Oh my goodness. 2 successes. Okay, well, your Mage Sight is up.
Hooray!
Hooray! Let me remind myself again. It also has prolonged duration for one scene. So now you've got Mage Sight, and then this is the most potent of the resonance detecting senses. And I should, as the storyteller here, explain the intricacies of any given source of resonance that would likely be invisible to one using another arcanum. So let me be lavish with details for a moment.
Please, lavish.
Yeah, that orange filth being vomited down the mountain is wiping out any sort of sense you may have had of anything subtle in the area. It's like trying to detect a lava lamp in the sun, and there's a lot of magical fallout, for lack of a better word, rolling down the mountain around you.
Okay.
Cool.
So now you've all got mage sight up. You've all
Glad we're headed that way.
detected a few things. Yep, you're headed straight into the flow of orange bullshit.
Neat.
So Miss Assassin Fluke lady.
Stop calling me an assassin.
Oh, shut up. All right. So anyway, so we got a couple things that are feral and apparently tracking us. Does that cause you any particular concern?
Huh? Let me see what her arcana are. I need to remind myself. All right.
And shame on you guys for me being the one to bring up that when I can't actually even see it. Trying to get us killed.
All right, Fluke's gonna roll. Oh. Well, those are wolves.
Oh. Again, are you concerned about said wolves?
Are they normal wolves or are they some kind of magic wolf?
Well, that she's not so sure about. She's her ability to sense just magic is being blunted by the same thing yours is, believe it or not. The flow of fallout is buttering over everything. But she thinks if the wolves are a problem, she thinks, generally wolves aren't going to approach a group this size. First of all, she thinks maybe they're just circling and following in case one of us is a wounded gazelle and falls behind the rest of the pack. They're probably not going to attack as things are right now.
Back.
Kingmaker smells like burnt steak. He's the problem. Let's just put him down.
God damn it.
But if there is a problem, if it's possible that these wolves are going to be a little more aggressive or a little more organized, it would be caused by a spirit. So she encourages Dewey to check again using spirit magic.
Okay. I can do that.
So prime plus spirit.
Spirit that. Let's see. Fur. Right spot.
One success, yeah. So now really what you're going to try and do is sense any powerful spirits in the area. You're not putting up mage sight again; that would be redundant. But in addition to mage sight, what second sight does is shows you the strength of the local gauntlet, which is that layer between the material world and the shadow realm.
Right.
So if it's very thin here, it's very likely that some spirits have been traveling to and fro. And indeed, it does seem...
I love how he said, right, like that it made any fucking sense at all. yeah, right. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Well, I remember seeing the picture. I remember that's what the gauntlet was.
Yeah, you want me to pull up the picture again?
I do remember that.
Yeah. There was a thin layer between the material and shadow realms down here in the fallen world. And let me pull up the picture again just for fun. Just for funsies.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
I actually did pay a bit of attention to that once I realized one of my things was spirit.
Yeah, good on you. So there's the thing again. Let me zoom in on it a bit.
That might have been at the point where I was angry and stomping off to steal your pickup.
Yeah, it may have been. So
Probably.
down here on the bottom half of this image, you still just see the map. Oh, hang on, fuck.
Yeah, I still see the map.
Yeah, hang on.
There we go.
Hey, that looks better. Or vaguely familiar anyway.
So I can zoom in on this.
There you go. Thanks for getting the dice now out of it.
So on the bottom of there, that's the fallen world, and on the left is the material world, and on the right is the shadow world, and in between is the gauntlet. And right now, Shale is attempting to sense how strong the gauntlet is here. If it's very weak, spirits are likely to be able to pass back and forth with very little effort. If it's very strong, less so. And it's very weak. The gauntlet is very weak here.
Oh, good.
We about to get fought by some wolves, gentlemen.
I would like to take the opportunity to learn a route of beast control.
Let's see. What is that? Mind magic?
It's mind level 2.
Okay.
Is Fluke capable of teaching you that, or have a book in her?
Fluke knows a number of rotes in the mind arcana, and indeed, beast control is one of them. So
Oh.
she pulls you to the side of the group as you're trundling up toward the top of the hill, and shows you some hand gestures and encourages your practice and corrects your mistakes. And before you know it, she's pointing at she's got an insect on her finger, and she points at it and suggests that you try to control it. And so why don't you beast
0.
control? Is it? Let me find it real quick.
It's presence plus animal ken plus mind versus resolve.
Yeah, but let me find the spell. Beast control. Simple mind. Manipulate a simple mind imposing basic telepathic control. Okay. So normally it would be gnosis plus mind, but if you take it as a rote here, and that's fine, spend your two of your rote dots that you had from character creation to take beast control, and then it's presence plus animal ken plus mind, and it is contested. She's got like a fruit fly on her finger, so it doesn't have a ton of resolve.
It rolls 20.
Why don't you roll that dice pool then,
They're
Okay.
physically weak.
and see how you do against this fruit fly?
Okay, here's 6.
One success. Okay, the fruit fly. Nope,
I
no
barely
successes. You have control of the fruit fly. What do you want it to do?
Do a barrel roll.
Do a barrel roll, Fox. So you feel your mind having some difficulty communicating with this tiny form of life. It's like speaking to something even dumber than a toddler. Like it's like speaking to something dumber than a baby.
So easy.
So,
It's-
Sammy?
It's like speaking
Hey.
to Sammy.
God damn it!
But your mind shrinks down through like a funnel to a needle point until you can communicate your intent with the tiniest and simplest of assembly language instructions. And baffling you for a moment, the fruit fly pops off of Fluke's finger and does some sort of maneuver and then lands on her finger again. And she seems satisfied that you've learned the spell.
Sweet.
Yeah, does anybody else want to try and pick up a rote or two here while you've got two willing mages teaching them with nothing better to occupy their time?
I think so, maybe. The healing heart seems like it'd be good to know easily.
Unfortunately, what's the dot rating on that?
3.
Yeah, neither of these two has enough life magic to teach you that.
All right. Well, what about? Well, never mind. The other one I was thinking about is 3 also. So never mind.
I want to know if she can teach me more about managing mana. Like channel mana.
What's the dot rating? Well, she can teach you anything about Prime. Do you want to learn a rote?
I would like to learn the channel mana rote.
All right. Are you tracking these other rotes, by the way, as they're being taught? Are you trying to spy on the hand gestures and learn what you can?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, make your notes where you need to make them.
Okay.
Fluke teaches you the what was it? Channel mana.
Yes, channel mana.
Yeah, she can teach you channel mana. That's an easy one. But she does need one of your task crystals to demonstrate.
Of course she does. All right, I hand it over.
All right, you're down to 5. And if you want to try out your new spell, you're going to have to burn another one.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, you're down to
So
4.
I'll be down to 4.
And why don't you go ahead and roll Wits plus Occult plus Prime. And we'll see if you're successful with your new rote.
I sure as hell hope I am. 2 successes.
No problem. So regain one of your 2 lost mana. Anybody else want any rotes? So Fluke's got Prime and Fate and some time and quite a bit of mind, a little bit of space and life and matter. Kingmaker has, he's best in space, and he has some mind and some forces and a little bit of life and spirit.
What did you say she had?
Primarily Prime, Fate, mind, some time, a little bit of space, life, and matter.
All right.
While you think, as you're walking up the mountain, Kingmaker's hobbling a lot, but eventually he settles into sort of an odd 2-legged limp on his new feet. He's standing for the first time in your presence, and he is surprisingly tall, although you're not sure whether his magic booties are giving him a boost. He's also very gaunt with long arms, so probably he's just a tall dude. He has slightly wavy hair, a bit of a scruffy beard, and he's wearing glasses. Since this is my first opportunity to describe Kingmaker.
I see.
And he also seems to be making his way out of the Fluke-induced pain and terror zone as you walk. So his personality and confidence are beginning to reemerge, though he is still somewhat cowed by Fluke's presence. And it's just really, really clear that Fluke and Kingmaker do not get along. You've got Kingmaker shoved up toward the front of the group, and Fluke is purposefully staying toward the back, just to stay away from him. You're sure she could annihilate him with a thought if she wanted to, but he's constantly peppering her with little verbal jabs. But she's largely ignoring him. Like once he calls her a fancy Ivy League magical princess. That pisses her off. Just can't tolerate someone smart enough to come up on his own. But I get it. You're probably jealous. You know, you probably worked harder than all the other fancy Ivy League princesses back at Hogwarts.
It is a thing.
No, she there's 2 easy ways to get a rise out of her. One is to call her a fancy Ivy League magical princess, and another is to mention Hogwarts. She fucking hates Harry Potter.
I would like to learn quantum flux.
Quantum flux. Is that fate?
It is fate. It's level 1.
Oh, absolutely. She can teach you that.
So
Read
do I
probability
just where the hell are these? Do I write these in rotes if she can teach me it?
Yeah, so spend one of your... You should have noted somewhere last week that you had some number of rote points you could spend.
I did not.
Okay, does someone else want to tell Drew how many rote points he should have?
6.
6. So note somewhere now that you're spending one of your 6 rote points.
Oh, I did write down. I got me 6 things.
Nice job.
That seems
Nice
like
work,
enough
Sammy.
detail. Great work.
It's on my
Nice.
rotes tab, so I feel like that's fair.
That seems like a thing. Let me see. Where's
I know you love it when I say that.
Yeah. Where are your rotes? Oh, the rotes are on their own tab. That's right.
Yep.
So Quantum Flux, Fate 1, Wits, Occult Fate. Yep. Okay. If you want to test it out, I don't know. What would we do that on right now? Go back to the spell reference.
Well, I don't know.
Nothing really. What that does is, let me open the damn book. Fate 1, Quantum Flux. You are going to read probability, compensate for deleterious factors. At this level of expertise, you can only mitigate or negate those small factors that add. Basically, when you're building up a dice pool for a spell, and I say, well, you're 100 million miles away, so take a -2. You can cast this spell to negate some of those penalties.
And it's only for spells, so I can't be like, I want to hit
No.
this ghost with my bat, and you
Nope.
can take away some dice, and I'm like, no, and then I can undo it so I can hit the ghost with my bat.
No, you can you can cast it for bat swings.
Perfect. That's what I wanted.
But
Magical situational bit.
What I want to check is, can you cast it before the spell or during the spell or after their action. You can negate up to a maximum of 3 dice worth of penalties. It can't add bonuses to your dice pools, but it can negate penalties.
That's fine. Cool.
I think probably... Okay, so what you do is you cast it. You could cast it right now and build up 3 successes with some number of castings. And then any time in the next scene, this spell has a prolonged duration. So if you have 3 successes sitting there, then at any time during the spell's duration, you can spend those to remove
There we go.
penalties.
Holy balls!
Wow, that was a shitty roll for 10 dice.
10 dice, 1 success. Well, you can cast it again. Doesn't cost mana, does it?
Nope.
There you go.
2. Ho-ho.
So I got 3, right?
You've got 3. You have 3 dice penalties you can negate. All right.
Cool.
Okay. So
I'm going to change my note to I got me 5 things.
yep, you used one of your things. Kingmaker is gaining a lot of confidence here with his little... Fluke is not good at verbal sparring, and Kingmaker apparently is. So he seems to be thinking he's getting the upper hand somehow. He had a near-death experience back down the trail, but now he's remembering why he came out here in the first place, which was to find all of you. And he winds up and he gives you the speech that you presume he's delivered to other newly awakened mages in the past. You find yourself wondering whether he considers you his disciples. But he says, hey, the fallen world, right? It's a prison for human souls. We're bound here by the abyss, and we're manipulated by those assholes up in the supernal world. They've left us down here to be preyed on by all sorts of nasty supernatural things. It's a jail. Mages are the only ones that can see the bars, let alone escape. We get to breathe in the supernal air exactly once during our awakenings, and I gave you that gift, by the way. And then we're trapped back in this cage for the rest of our lives.
I'll let you out.
Fluke hisses at him. Thinks he's a fucking genius philosopher. He seems to be. He seems.
Can he give us a little more? I'd like to ask Kingmaker about his perspective on everything that she said, and hopefully he can explain it in like a normal human being and not just some jagoff who's angry.
What specifically are you asking about? What
well, like
that
she's
she
talking
said?
about this high society in the mage, like I guess world, and how the awakening is all apparently a good thing, or something that should not just be taken lightly or forced upon somebody, and she doesn't really like being called an assassin.
Well,
so why did you call her an assassin?
He's seen mages like her before. He's seen what he would consider, highfalutin city folk of mages. Like people who come from, who are well educated and have a good background and blah blah blah. He's very pleased with himself for having dragged himself up by his bootstraps and learned what he's learned. He can't really tell you, as far as he knows, none of what she said makes a whole lot of sense, because none of that exists in Sudbury. All that fancy shit she's talking about with all the sects and the guardians of the veil and the structure and the government, it's not really a thing here.
So he's not.
He never had the equivalent of 4th grade civics class for mages.
Right. In fact, he didn't have the equivalent of a 4th grade spelling class for mages.
I feel like me and him should get along better than we do.
Well, you're the one pushing
Cut
it.
from the same cloth.
You know what? I generally speaking hate everyone who people assume is like me. That's true fact in real life. Anyway,
So Kingmaker is getting a little nervous as you continue to hike.
So I want to ask Kingmaker something.
Yeah.
So we're here because Fluke has advised us that we're on the trail of Adustus, who is a very bad mage. Why in the Sam hell are you here?
What? Well, as I said, he's beginning to get nervous because it's becoming clear you don't intend to turn around and leave. He came up here specifically to find you guys. But listen, I don't know what you're here for exactly, but I mean, you may not have the whole story about the mountain we're on right now.
Please enlighten us.
Fill us in.
Apparently, it's well known in local mage folklore and the Sudbury mage community. What little organization there is, which isn't much, they do try to keep people off of this mountain. Kingmaker says, well, there was a death cult, and they spent centuries or longer sacrificing humans in some massive ritual here, trying to, I don't know exactly what they were trying to do. I don't know. But whatever it was, it didn't work. I've heard stories about 12 mages from Sudbury who came up here to destroy the cult and seal everything off, and I guess they all died in the process.
Huh.
And Fluke says, "Ha! Well, that explains you. I mean, there's no way you'd have so many wrong ideas about how all this shit works if the mage community around here was healthy or even somewhat governed. I'm guessing those 12 mages back then were probably the ruling caste of the local Concilium, and when they all died, mage society was annihilated in this part of the world."
Seems reasonable. So
But there's no fucking way he'd be allowed to do this shit. Just try that shit in Chicago and see how it works out. Try it in Wichita. You'd get your ass handed to you.
So this death cult, they were around for a long time. Probably gathered some pretty good stuff.
Oh boy.
Kingmaker shrugs and says, "Well, sure. They abducted thousands, millions. I don't even know how many people."
I'm wondering, either of you guys, can you teach me find the hidden hoard? I'd like that spell as a roach.
Which is that matter?
That's matter. It's a level 1 matter.
Let me see if either of them has matter. Yeah, Fluke has matter. She can teach you find the hidden hoard.
That'd be great. Thank you.
All right, spend a rote point and take it. Or
Done.
Two? Is it 1 dot or 2 dots? 1 dot.
It's a 1 dot.
All right, take it.
Did. I'd like to be taught it, obfuscated behind some bushes, so that fucking Albacore can't steal it from us.
Well, he saw the gestures Fluke was making. If you're concerned that Albacore is paying too close of attention while people are making rote gestures, then that's something you're going to have to bring up with Fluke and Kingmaker, because they're not being secretive at all. They're just making their gestures.
Becoming increasingly distrustful of my friends.
I've noticed. Well, why don't you give me a let's see here. Why don't you give me a wits plus occult roll? Speaking of occult, by the way, Drew, we talked about unseen sense earlier.
Yeah.
Take unseen sense off your character sheet.
Okay.
But you can have 1 free dot in either investigation or occult. It's up to you.
Oh. I'm going to take the occult one because it's more expensive.
Yeah, good call. But why don't you roll, what did I say? Wits plus occult? Yeah, roll wits plus occult.
Okay.
Plus 1 for your suspicious nature, so just roll another die. Alright, 1 success. You don't know exactly what's going on, but you suspect, first of all, that even if you were to learn the hand gestures involved in a 5-dot death spell, you wouldn't be able to cast it. So, frankly, You suspect it's possible that Albacore is cataloging all these all this magical mumbo jumbo, but you're not convinced he can do much with it.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Okay, so Fluke is just gazing up the mountain in silence now. She seems significantly sobered by her conversation with Kingmaker a moment ago. Having learned a little more about what happened on the mountain, she's very quiet. And Kingmaker, after her outburst, looks both offended and frightened.
Oh my.
But he would clearly like to leave, and she is clearly intent on traveling further up the mountain. About an hour has passed at this point, and you're beginning to notice a thin dusting of snow here and there. You must be approaching the tree line because the vegetation is getting more and more sparse. And what little insect and bird brain activity and life activity that Timmy and Dewey were noticing before has now trailed off to nothing. There's nothing.
Do these guys know Lucky Coin before we go into something else? It's a fate.
Fluke does.
3.
Yeah.
Okay, I want Lucky Coin.
Okay, that's a level 3 rote.
Yep.
Okay, spend 3 rote points and go ahead and take it.
Am I right in assuming that the beast control I learned would only succeed in controlling the fleas on the wolves that might attack us?
So life magic draws a distinction between base life, median life, and whatever the top tier is, the complex life or something. Mind, I think, is kind of similar, but let me look.
Yeah, it says, I lost it. Simple mind, and then there's greater beast control, which is a median mind.
Yeah. Okay, so simple would, yes, it would be earthworms and insects and maybe some birds and stuff like that.
I'd like to take a crack at greater beast control once you're done with it.
Oh, by all means. You should probably practice it. Although, is that 3 dots or 2 dots or what?
It's 3 dots, and I do have 3 dots.
Yeah, but I don't... Oh, mind. Yeah, no, Fluke can teach you that.
How far away from the top of the mountain or where we're going are we?
Well, you're 1 hour farther than you were when you started, but there is a peak in the distance that's getting more and more obvious as the tree cover thins out.
So not like a stone's throw.
No, you could probably not throw a stone to the top of the mountain.
What if I cast Lucky Coin on that stone?
If you cast Lucky Coin, let me see. Let me remind myself what the fuck Lucky Coin does. Is that's
transfers fortune to a lifeless object and gives the equipment dice bonus to the targeted object.
Okay, then no. You still would not be able to throw a stone to the top of the mountain.
Okay, I just wanted to know how close we were.
But you would be able to throw the stone at Kingmaker's head with a +3 dice bonus.
Oh shit! That's so tempting. But I feel like I need to move past that for the betterment of the group.
I said earlier, like once we determine that he's not useful anymore, I'm okay with killing him.
You're going to drain him of all his rotes and then let him run away.
Okay, wait a minute.
I'm okay with that.
Are his legs like ethereal or are they lifeless objects? Or what are they?
They seem to be lifeless, almost metal objects that more or less materialized out of nothing back down the trail. You're not sure if they're permanent. You're not sure if they're living. You're not sure what's going on with them.
So if I were to cast that on there, could I then make him do the Charleston just for my own fun?
No, you could not.
Or would that be one of those bad things that makes me...
What, Lucky Coin? You want to cast Lucky Coin on his legs and make him do the Charleston? It's not going to happen. Did you read Lucky Coin? Go read it in the book.
That's one of those perversion things, right?
Vulgar magic? Yeah, it would be vulgar magic.
Perversion. Interesting how you go straight to perversion.
Yeah. So Norland, did you take Greater Beast Control?
What do I have to do?
Mind 3. So, well, first of all, you need a Greater Beast. And there aren't any in the area, aside from the the wolves that were following you.
Squirrels.
You're not sure if they still are. You could ask Dewey.
I was actually wondering. I would like to double check that again.
All right, why don't you roll Gnosis plus life again and do another sense life? 0
Wow.
successes.
No idea.
You're,
They might be there. They might not be.
Yeah. Oh my God! It's a wolf! It's right here. No, you have no idea. If you'd like to check again, you certainly can.
Yeah, I would like to make sure.
Oh my goodness! 4 successes.
I concentrated a little harder.
The wolves are now much behind you. They are definitely wolves. They are no longer surrounding you. They seem to have receded right along with the rest of life on this mountain. In fact, now that you're casting Sense Life, there's nothing. Everything's barren around here.
There's no life.
There's a few scruffy pine trees and things clinging to life. I mean, you've reached the tree line, and there's nothing
Okay,
moving
well,
up here.
if there's nothing around, what are we still walking towards?
The peak.
But I mean, does Fluke still think something's there? What
Yes.
are we going there for?
Yes, Fluke still thinks something's there.
What does she think is there?
Adustus?
Because wouldn't I be able to sense that if he was there? Or is it still too far away?
Well, typically you can sense within sensory range using that spell. You got a minor
It's too
bonus
far
for.
away. You can't even hit a rock there, so it's too
No,
far away, man.
You can't throw a rock that far. Stop it with the rocks.
I could throw a rock over those mountains.
In the distance ahead, yeah, go ahead.
I would like to cast Lucky Coin on my bat, just in case.
That's a good idea. Cast it.
Done.
Okay. Well,
The luckiest bat in the world.
let me see what. And let me reread again Lucky Coin because that's an exceptional success, and I'd hate to sell you short.
Yeah, I just read it. It just makes it really lucky.
Whenever he swings at something, it's going to just blow it up.
On the turn after casting, the targeted object receives an equipment dice bonus equal to the spell's successes. So you don't cast that an hour beforehand. You cast it, and then one turn later you get a big bonus.
Shit.
But
Alright.
One turn
Oh.
from now, that bat is
Well,
going
in
to knock
case somebody
somebody's
shows
block
up
off.
right now, you'll be good.
Yeah. Well, as it happens, in the distance ahead, there is a hulking form standing on the trail ahead of you. The trees have all cleared out, mostly. There's only a few. The light from the moon is more or less aligned with the peak of the mountain, so it's directly behind whatever this is. So you only see a silhouette. It's got to be, though, like 7 feet tall.
Go get her, Ray.
I got this. I do want to ask, so how many... Okay, I have bashing wounds. You said it's been an hour, so I'm assuming those have healed.
That's bashing wounds heal at a rate of
1 per 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, then if you've got bashing wounds, they're gone.
Okay. Thank you. Willpower... I don't remember how fast those restore.
So you had spent all of your willpower in the process of interrupting your awakening, drawing your pistol, and shooting Kingmaker in the face.
I used 3 of them. I did
You
use
used-
them all, but you
used
gave
them
me
all,
one back.
and you got one back because of the goal you accomplished, or the cool thing that happened.
Yes.
But that's it. You're still
I'm still... Okay.
you still have
These
3
are-
willpower spent.
But I am healthy, so that's good. All right, so hulking figure. I would first like to ask Fluke and Kingmaker thoughts on this guy. Should I take the lucky bat and smash it upside the head?
Kingmaker.
Well, at this point,
Kingmaker looks like he wants to retreat and sprint down the mountain. Fluke is undeterred. She's simply walking farther up the mountain.
So neither one of those was an answer about me hitting it in the face with a bat.
That's correct.
Damn it.
I would like to try to find out that thing's emotional and psychic qualities with third eye.
Third eye.
At this point, too, just so we know, I'm pulling out my crossbacks and one of my bombs.
Crossbacks and bomb
I'm
acquired.
just having it on the ready.
Okay, mind 1, third eye, mage sight. Exceptional mental powers such as telepathy, psychometry, ESP, telltale impulse. Okay, yeah. Cast third eye.
So that's
Gnosis plus mind.
That's very unlikely.
Psychometry.
Oh, hey!
1 success. There is mind magic afoot. You can tell that much.
That's it.
Yep.
All right. There's mind magic afoot, guys.
Who's in front of the group?
Well, you put Kingmaker up there, and he's slowing down. He doesn't want to go toward whatever this is.
Okay. Should we just let Fluke keep walking and see if the thing's invisible and she just walks right through it?
Well, she's walking. You tell me.
Yeah, sure. Let's see what happens when she gets up there.
All right. Well, as you approach, it becomes clear you're looking at the dimensions of a black bear. It's standing on its hind legs, perfectly still, apparently pretty comfortable. Its eyes are peering down the mountain, regarding you from probably 10 feet above in elevation.
Black bears aren't 7 feet tall.
They are when they stand up.
I thought that was a grizzly.
Grizzlies are like 9, 10 feet tall.
Ah, shit.
I looked it up. The bear's face is slack. If bears had expressions you could decipher, you'd describe this one as blank.
Oh, good. Who's got animal kin?
I do.
Norland, take care of this guy.
Yeah, sure.
Make him your thrall. Take his soul stone. Somebody else probably has it.
Yeah, Animal Ken does that. But you could roll animal. You could roll. Why don't you roll wits plus Animal Ken?
Okay. Well, 3. No.
1 success.
I say, hey, bear. What's up?
Well, your Animal Ken here is functioning more as bear knowledge, general bear knowledge.
This is a bear.
So
Yep, that's a bear.
You inspect the bear with your keen eye and see that huge areas of flesh have been torn right out of the animal. You see what look like claw marks, but longer like fingers. It looks like if you pulled chunks off a wet piece of clay with your hands. And much of the bear's chest cavity has been hollowed out like this.
Oh, dear God.
And the bear's lungs suddenly heave in a tortured breath, and it exhales with a reedy, wheezing sound. After a moment, you realize it's speaking with a whisper, like its mouth is barely moving, but it enunciates like something that was never meant to form words, as if its tongue is too big or not finely articulated enough. Let me see. Let me get my bear voice on.
Oh, boy.
Ah, so this is who you are. 4 infants and an old woman. And you've brought your cripple with you. What a delight.
Bear sarcasm is literally the worst thing on the planet.
Okay.
Why are you following me?
She told us to.
Yeah, Fluke, you want to handle this, old woman?
Fluke is not speaking.
God damn.
Why does she pick the worst times?
Fluke seems like she's trying to remain sort of toward the back of the group now.
Oh, she's testing us. All right. It's bat time.
Look. Why is it bat time?
It's always bat time.
It's always bad time!
I repeat, why are you following me?
We're looking for our friend.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one.
Friend?
What are you doing with Allison? Give us Allison back.
Allison? Yes, Allison's here. What do you care for a sleeper like Allison?
Their friend.
You're too attached to your pets.
We didn't even know we were pets.
What do you care for a
20
sleeper
minutes.
like Allison?
She's mine.
No, she's not.
Do you know what they did on this mountain? Do you have any idea?
We have some idea.
I don't understand you. If you're satisfied with the world as it is, simply leave me be. I'll be outside your concerns soon enough.
And now we're gonna need our friend back.
I see. Well then, farewell. And as the bear whispers this last word, it moves slightly. At first you think it's sort of a shrug, but the shoulder movement continues until the bear's foreleg is in an odd, unnatural position. And then it falls completely off. And a second later the bear's entire body collapses into a pile of writhing body parts. Each of the body segments seems to wiggle and crawl on unseen legs, and they all rush toward you, fangs and claws and exposed bone fragments extended like daggers.
Oh, neat.
Dewey, where's your bat? I mean, Sammy,
Yes.
bat.
Yeah, bad time.
So if you would each roll a d10 and add your initiative score for me.
So 1 plus the initiative?
Whatever your initiative score is at the bottom of your character sheet,
Yeah.
add
Just
that
roll
to
that.
add that to the
Oh.
result of your d10 roll.
I got 14.
7.
I'm trying something, but
11.
I'm not sure it's gonna work the way I want it to.
So
we'll just
Tim
see
has
what
14.
happens
Tim has 14. Dewey has what? 11. 7.
I have 11.
7.
Dewey has
Dewey has
7. Sammy has 11. Did Albacore? What did Albacore have?
here. 15.
Yeah, 15.
How did you
look,
tell
yeah.
it to add numbers?
He's very
All right, so
smart.
at the top left, there's a toolbar. There's a little die. If you click the die, there's an advanced roll where you can choose how many dice and then add a number to it.
Cool.
So smart. Okay, so let me see here. Fluke.
Not that way.
Why is Admiral Akbar the one who's talking to us? The bear was Admiral Akbar. That's great.
A little bit, I guess. That's what I came up with on the spot for a bear voice. I'm sorry.
That works. You got a 3 on a D20?
That's
Good
pretty
job.
bad, Norl. Okay, so that was I rolled for Fluke. Let me roll for Kingmaker, because Kingmaker's still here.
I have a feeling they might ask you.
He swings his magical legs at him. Yeah, but you're the healer, so you'll be fine. Just stand in the back and take care of us.
And now let me roll for the bear parts. All right, they're tied with Albacore at the top of the initiative order.
Holy balls.
So I'll put them behind him. Although they do have... All right, that's tough because they have the jump on you here. Well, you're all prepared. You're all standing there staring at the bear when this
Yeah,
happens.
I have a
so-
lucky damn bat. I don't know how much better I can get.
Well, you had a lucky bat for 3 seconds, but you're gonna need to.
I didn't throw one of my bombs at him.
Yeah, you can throw
Like,
a bomb when it's your turn.
Out in front of us, basically. Well, when it's my turn. Yeah, great.
Yeah. Okay. 4 sessions later. ... Combat. Yeah. Well, we don't have a lot of combat. We only play 2 hours at a time. So we'll start with Albacore. Albacore. What would you like to do? Do you have any of your weapons out? Do you have any of your fancy Dewey made weapons?
Nope,
You
sure
never really-
don't.
yeah, you never had any of those, did you? You had you took a bomb.
Well, I'm carrying 2 bombs, but that's nonsense. So with my mage sight, am I able to detect if these things are being controlled by magic or not?
Well, they are animated bear zombie parts, but you could certainly check.
Will that take
There
my
could be
turn?
some other cause.
Will it take your turn to cast a spell? Yeah, it will.
Okay. Well, then I want to just go straight to trying to dispel the magic.
Ah. All right, let's which dispel spell do you want to try?
Let's find out here. I think the strongest one I have is Counterspell Prime.
You would need at least one dot. You would need one dot in at least one arcanum used for the spell. So, how would we tell you that? I suppose you could just try and get lucky, or you could, as you were suggesting, you could. You're not limited to the spells on this spell sheet. You could just tell me, all right, look, I know there's magic here. I want to try and discern exactly what kind of a spell it is. I want to scrutinize the magic being used.
Yeah, that's the one.
All right, I'm not sure what spell that would be, but let's pretend it's related to a counterspell and just cast roll Gnosis plus Prime.
All right. One
success. Well, that's enough to tell you that there's death magic involved, and there is space magic involved, and you catch a fleeting glimpse of mind magic, though it seems to be leaving.
Leaving? Yeah, okay. So whoever's controlling the bear was doing it remotely, and they're gone now.
That's how you would interpret it, yes.
All right. Let's see. And you said it was death, and what was the other? Space?
Space.
Okay, well, I don't have either of those, so counterspelling is not going to work.
Not with Counterspell Prime.
I don't think there's another one I could use.
All right, but that was your turn, though. So, I mean, if you want to like move to the back of the group to get out of the line of fire of
I think
Sammy's
I'll
bat or something.
I'm gonna mosey on back by where Fluke is and just kind of elbow her in the ribs and be like, "What the fuck are you doing?
Fuck you doing, lady?" All right. So you move back toward Fluke, and now you've discerned the magic that's being used here.
Hey guys, it's death magic and space magic.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
All right.
Hope Fluke teleports him into outer space.
So
That's
we
a
have
thing, right?
we have 4 bear legs, 2 fore and 2 hind. And they are attacking. Who's standing at the front? I guess it's Kingmaker, huh? Unless someone else wants to claim to have
totally
jumped in
Kingmaker.
front of him.
No, let that fucker die.
All right. Well, here we go. So he's got the equivalent of 4 small axes targeting him right now.
Oh boy.
Some strength. I don't want to do it that way. Let's do it this way. There, that's my dice pool. And I'll roll it 4 times.
Dewey, you did take out a bomb, didn't you? When you took out your
Oh my goodness.
bow axe.
I took out a bomb, yeah.
Good.
Okay. Let me quick figure out how many hit points Kingmaker has, because that was pretty nasty.
Oh boy.
Kingmaker has 7 health. And he has just taken 6 lethal wounds.
Jesus.
Ouch.
So the a fucking tornado of bear limbs.
Were they on his magic leg, so it really didn't matter?
Well, yeah, let's see here. So a tornado of bear limbs comes swirling up the path in an unnatural and disturbing fashion, and
As they do.
and descends on poor Kingmaker, who is shrieking in fear at the front of the group. And they slice, they dice, they julienne, and yeah, we'll say that one of them smacked one of his legs pretty good, and it doesn't completely knock it off or anything, but it deals some significant damage to what appears to be metal. But is now showing signs of, rather than simply taking damage and being dented or scratched, it's flickering, as if it's losing power, and that would constitute, we'll say, one of the 6 lethal wounds. So he's taken 5 lethal wounds to the rest of his poor body.
You're welcome for the clarification, Kingmaker.
So he's at 5 out of 7, which is still pretty bad. And the torso, oddly enough, comes rolling up the path.
Really?
Yeah,
Are we being attacked by a furry steamroller?
kind
Not
of.
again.
Well, there's ribs poking out of this thing, and it's splashing liver juice everywhere, and it's not going to be pleasant to have this thing smack
Stomach
you.
acid.
Yeah. But it cartwheels up the path and right past Kingmaker, and it seems to be targeting Sammy.
Of course it does.
Well, you walked up with your bat, so yeah, you are next.
I would
Well,
like
you're
to
holding a bat in a threatening manner.
like it's a 9-iron.
All right, you take it thumps right into you, and it weighs about as much as you'd expect a black bear torso to weigh, and
130 pounds.
Sure.
yeah, all right, about 130 pounds.
That's what I'd expect.
And so it doesn't knock you off your feet, but it lacerates you a bit with some of the ribs sticking out, and you take 1 lethal wound.
Son of a bitch.
And then
Just feel that.
and then the head. You wouldn't expect the head to be able to ambulate, but you wouldn't expect the torso to be able to ambulate either.
I didn't really expect any of this, so
Nobody expects the rolling torso.
Nobody expects the rolling bear zombie torso, but then it happens. All right. The head moves faster than any of the other parts. It's moving like a missile, just zipping around, and it tears right around Kingmaker and right around Sammy, and it smacks Timmy in the leg and bites down on his shin, and you take 1 lethal wound.
Ouch,
Damn
you
it,
guys.
Timmy. You're supposed to be hiding in the back with your laptop trying to find the Wi-Fi.
All right,
the bear.
so that was all the bear
Hack
parts.
the
It's Tim's turn.
So to review, we have 4 bear legs, a bear torso, and a bear head.
Yes, the bear head is clamped onto Timmy's leg. The bear torso just thumped right into Sammy. And the 4 bear limbs are doing a blender dance around Kingmaker at the front of the group.
God help us when the tail comes around.
Bear
So it's
dong.
clamped on, and if I were to hit it, I would cause myself more damage.
That's for me to know and you to find out.
That also makes my bomb rather
No,
effective.
well, that's a good point. But maybe you don't care all that much about Kingmaker. Or maybe you could throw the bomb and then kick the torso down after it. Or maybe, you'd be creative. There's probably ways to get around the fact that the bear parts are now intermingled with your group. But okay. So Tim, I would surmise that if you were to attack the bear maw clutching your leg, that would be a good way to get it to declutch. But
Whoops. Ignore that.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go after it with my demo hammer.
Hell yeah, that's one-handed. So what's the demo hammer? It was let's look at
3 bashing.
3 bashing. All right, so roll strength plus weaponry plus 3.
Damn.
Oh dear, 3 successes. All right. The bear head takes 3 wounds, 3 bashing wounds, and indeed it appears to be dazed and falls off of your leg.
Sweet.
All right, so that brings us to Kingmaker. And Kingmaker... Let me see here. What the fuck is Kingmaker going to do?
He just screams for his turn.
Maybe he can awaken the bear limbs.
He's a fucking asshole. Let me see here. Let me look at the spell list and see what poor Kingmaker has at his disposal. I'm thinking... Yeah. He's gonna...
Heal major wounds. Does he have that? Because that'd be a good one to cast on himself.
No, he does not have that. But what he does have is teleportation.
Oh.
Ooh, good.
I don't like him being out of our sight.
And it's a
He's gonna
vulgar
just
spell.
I think he's just going to be gone.
What does the vulgar spell mean?
Oh dear. Have I not
Things
explained
are
this?
noticed.
Yeah, you did.
You have it. Sleepers. It's noticeable. Sleepers will notice it, and it can cause problems.
It means he's rending reality by casting this spell, and reality doesn't like it. So his paradox pool is at 1 die, and I'm going to roll before he tries to teleport. And oh well, look at fucking that! I rolled a 10.
Oh, good. Sounds like it's a thing that's a good thing. No.
So I should probably roll again. Let me. I'm gonna have to look. Okay, I just got the 1 success, but let me look up paradox. What happens when you have 1 success? I don't think it's too bad. 1 success on a paradox roll. Paradox. Those are all rotes. Show me. NOPQRS. There's going to be paradox on like 45 different pages. 268 to 274, I think, is what I want. Probably this just means that the spell goes awry.
There goes last 2 hit points.
Yeah, he's in rough shape.
I hope he teleports him into a tree.
Well, something like that might happen. Yeah. Shit, I wasn't expecting to have paradox happen that quickly. But I should have read about paradox sooner.
Well, I guess, when 4 random bear legs just kill a guy,
Yeah.
it's unexpected.
All right, so I think what this means basically is that the spell is no longer under his control, and any attempt to teleport to a specific location is going to go pretty badly awry. But that's what he's going to attempt.
Oh boy.
Oh, that's a lot of dice. 1, 2, 3 successes. Okay. So he successfully casts the spell, but paradox thwarts him. You're not sure what he was attempting, but it's like he got the X and the Y coordinates right, but fucked up the Z coordinate. And
We just hear him screaming.
Well, you do. You hear a surprised yell, and anyone who turns to look will see him materialize about 100 yards down the path, but at the same elevation. So he falls about 25 feet.
That's gonna end poorly for a guy who's
He
almost
falls
dead.
about 25 feet, and you're not sure if he took a wound or not, but he's not looking too good. And it's Sammy's turn.
Okay. I would like to... Let's see. If I hit him with the spike bat, I might just get stuck in this giant torso. Well, we're going to do it anyway. Wait, let's see. What do I got for spells here real fast?
Well, let's see if I have any spells. I am a mage, after all. But you have a bat. You can whack him with a bat. That's fine, too.
Well, yeah, I'm just trying to see. I mean, if these if like I cast, if it's instant, does that use my turn or not?
Yes.
Oh,
You can, typically speaking, you can take an action and you can move.
screw that. Swing for the fences on the torso.
Absolutely. All right. So strength plus weaponry plus what's your spike bat? Is it
My spike bat is a 3B.
3 bashing? Okay. So strength plus weaponry plus 3.
Oof, I really got to increase some of those.
Ouch. Oh dear.
Oh. Hit yourself with a bat.
How the hell? I used to swing
You
this
completely missed a rotting bear corpse.
Well, to be
Well,
fair,
it was rolling
to be
downhill away from me.
to be fair, it's rolling around at pretty high speeds, and it's splattering liver juice everywhere and stomach bile and maybe some of that got in your eyes, but you swing and miss. It's moving around a little too erratically for you to smack it solidly right now. And unless you want to move, it's Fluke's turn.
I'd like to step farther away from the whirling dervishes of legs.
You are the closest to the legs right now, so you just want to turn around and tear ass down the mountain, or what?
Or just side. I feel like these probably can't traverse the mountain as well as I can, so I'm going to move laterally.
Laterally, okay, like off the side of the path.
Off the path into the woods.
Okay, there's not much woods left. Most of the trees are gone at this point, but
okay.
Your
We're
speed
above
is
the tree line.
your speed is 10, which I believe means you can move
Yes, my speed is 10.
10 yards or something. All right, so you sprint off the edge of the path, and it's Fluke's turn. Fluke. Fluke doesn't do anything.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, good.
What the hell?
And now it's Dewey's turn.
Why did she not do anything? She's like frozen, or what's the deal?
No, she's not frozen. She's staring intently at all the bare parts, and she looks concerned, and she's moving. She's not frozen in place or anything. She's just choosing not to act.
Okay.
She's doing it. Kill her.
Dewey.
I'm gonna toss one of my bombs in the middle of the whirling dervish
Okay.
of bear parts. Since
Alright.
What's his name got out of there?
Kingmaker.
Yeah.
Kingmaker's out of the bear tornado.
Right.
The bear NATO. What did we say the bomb was? Too aggravated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Sure. You just want to throw one bomb, or?
I'll throw 2.
Yeah, we'll say you can throw 2 in one turn. But you will have to aim. Roll dexterity plus athletics plus 4 for the 2 bombs. Minus 2 because you're downhill and it's just harder to throw uphill.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. 4 successes. Okay. Both bombs land in the center of the bear NATO and blast the limbs in every direction. They don't fly apart or anything, but they do each take 4 damage.
I would think a dismembered limb wouldn't have a whole lot of life to it, but that's just me.
You might think that. So leg 1 is at 4 damage.
4 aggravated damage.
4 aggravated damage. Yes, true. What was the... So you hit the head with the demo hammer, so that's bashing damage, right?
Yep.
All right. Aggravated damage is a significant step up. So that was a tremendous attack.
You know it.
All right.
What kind of bombs are these?
Acid bombs.
Muriatic
Acid
acid.
bombs. So there's no muriatic acid about. Are we bothering about any of that?
Well, there's muriatic. There's a pool of muriatic acid where the bombs went off, and it's in probably an aerosolized form in the air. But I mean, it's not like muriatic acid is all that lethal, aside from its use.
Yeah, it's just going
in
to mostly stink, and you wouldn't want to go in the middle of it and breathe in heavily. But
and the torso has taken no wounds. Well done, Drew. Okay, we're back to the top with Albacore.
Okay.
Why don't you just stand there looking astonished like this can't be real?
I'm thinking about doing that. Shit, there's not much that I can really do, I don't think. So I can't dispel any of this spell. I can't do that.
Let's see what else there is in Prime. What? How many dots in Prime do you have?
3.
Well, there's always Celestial Fire.
It sounds awesome, actually. All right, yeah, I'm gonna just get really angry and wish that the torso was on fire.
This is vulgar.
Seems like a good idea.
This is vulgar, so I'm going to roll a paradox die for you.
Great.
Okay. Now you roll Gnosis plus Prime. Gnosis plus Prime. 1 success. All right. You were aiming at the torso, you said? Or the head?
Yes.
Okay.
The torso.
All right, so an arc of silver magnesium light erupts from your fingers. You've cast this spell more or less on an instinct. You thought, oh, maybe I could try this, and you just did something and it happened. And now you've got lightning bolts shooting out of your fingers. Not literal lightning bolts. You'd need forces for that, which you do also have, by the way.
Yeah.
This is more like a leaky white line of pure magic, sunbeams and starlight and so forth.
Cool.
But you recognize it. You see this effect, and it reminds
that's what
you.
Fluke did.
Yeah, it reminds you very much of what Fluke used a couple of times. First, in the apartment building on the cadaver she attacked, and then later on Kingmaker. But you inflict 1 bashing damage on the torso.
Does it ignite?
It does not ignite.
Okay.
But you burn a little hole in it, or maybe partially cauterize one of its many wounds.
Oh, good. Okay.
And now it's time for the bear parts. The 4 limbs have been scattered to the cardinal directions up and down the mountain. So let me see if any of them get lost. Okay, 2 of them. 2 of them wander off into the woods looking for you and will probably not find you.
Awesome.
Convenient.
The other 2, they make a beeline for Dewey. And
of course they do.
acting as a significantly reduced Bearnado, they strike in unison. Oh, I rolled real shitty. But you take 1 lethal wound, Dewey.
Okay.
Let me find you. So that's an X in your health. Okay. Start from the left for my benefit, so I know where to look. All right. So that was the limbs. The torso has just been shot with celestial fire, and if it had eyes or a brain, it might object to the celestial fire that streamed at it from Albacore and go do something about it. But since it's just a dumb torso, it's going to continue rolling around randomly. And it heads straight for Albacore, actually. So,
God damn it.
it rolls further down the mountain, and smacks into Albacore. And Albacore's not as light on his feet as Sammy. So this time it does sort of stagger you a bit, and let's see if you fall over. Why don't you roll dexterity plus athletics?
Let me find my sheet. Dexterity and athletics. Oh no.
Oh dear. All right. Take 2 lethal wounds, and you are now prone on the ground with a bear torso flopping around on top of you.
Did you say 2 lethal?
2 lethal.
All right.
That's what the shattered ribs and liver juices do to you.
Apparently.
And now the head. The head is dazed on the ground next to Timmy, but it is gnashing its teeth randomly, hoping to bite down on something, and let's see if it gets lucky. It gets super lucky.
Oh boy.
It gets maybe a little too lucky. Timmy, would you roll dexterity plus athletics, please?
Oh, you know what? I forgot that I have fast reflexes, so I should have probably gotten more initiative.
Yeah, fast reflexes means you can shoot yourself to the front of the initiative order, doesn't it? Or is it just...
It just gives you an extra point of initiative per dot of
For
fast
each dot,
reflexes.
and
That should be accounted for on your sheet already then, Drew.
Is it?
Yeah, if you have 2 dots in fast reflexes, then your initiative score should be 2 points higher. So if it's not already factored in...
It is. No,
Okay.
it's not. But it will be now.
Okay. So, Timmy, you rolled 2 successes.
Yep.
Which means you managed to dodge out of the way of 2 of the 4 lethal damage that the bear just chomped down on you with.
That head was chomping like a mother.
It just
Wow.
it's just chomping randomly, and it got 4 successes. So that is painful.
Sure.
2 more lethal wounds for poor Timmy, and we are on to Tim's turn.
I'd like to use my flamethrower on the head.
All right. You're within 5 feet. I think we decided that was the range on these things. So why don't you roll dexterity plus weaponry plus 4. Two successes. You set it alight with your can of WD-40 or whatever that was, and it takes 2 lethal damage, but is still not dead. Well, it's already dead. It's still it hasn't stopped moving.
So does that use up my flamethrower, or do I have more ammo for later use?
Well, I don't know, Shale. How many shots do you suppose these WD-40 flamethrowers are good for?
I would say at least a couple. They're bigger cans of WD-40. I
Okay.
wouldn't say they could use up in one.
So you've definitely got at least one more shot in there.
Yeah.
Kingmaker's turn. Kingmaker is stunned and writhing in pain some 100 yards down the path. So Sammy.
All right.
Can you use your turn to say what the fuck, Fluke?
Yes, use your whole turn to ask Fluke why she's not doing anything.
I do kind of want to...
She'd probably just not respond.
Hold on.
So there's 2 bare limbs attacking who? Dewey?
They were attacking me. Yeah.
Dewey.
Yeah.
2 bare limbs are nowhere to be seen. The torso is rolling around on top of Albacore, and the head is still gnashing away on Timmy's at shin level.
I would like to try to cast interconnections.
Interconnections. Is that
It's
fate?
fate, and it's a level 1. So it's what? Fate plus Gnosis, so 5.
Gnosis plus fate would be the dice pool, yes. Interconnections.
And it failed, so that was fun.
Did not go well.
All right, so you were not able to discern any of the themes and interconnections between people, places, and things here.
Yeah, I wanted to see if she was controlling anything.
Well, I might have told you.
Who's
Sadly,
to say?
no. Who can tell? Then it's unless you want to move, it's now Fluke's turn.
I would like to. Can I climb a tree?
Well, again, there are not a lot of trees around here. There's
God damn it.
and
All
what
right,
there
fine.
is pretty scrubby and thin. You'd probably.
You are taller than the trees, so yes, you go ahead.
Then I will. I will head up the mountain, but kind of in a sweeping track towards the group. So I'm uphill from all these things that I'm pretty convinced can only go downhill.
And you are still off the trail a bit, so
Yes.
okay. All right, Fluke's turn. Let's see. She's at the back of the group, near. She was near Albacore, actually, right?
Yes,
And
she
the torso just smacked into Albacore.
Yes, it did.
So she might do something about that. Let's see.
Be nice.
She pulls out her knife. She pulls out her knife and slashes at it, and misses completely. And
Awesome.
she grunts in frustration. And now it's Dewey's turn.
I do feel like she wouldn't drag us all the way up here to kill us with a bear. She could have done this a long ways,
Yeah.
a long while ago.
These bear parts be considered median life forms?
If they were alive, if it was a bear, it would be a median life form. Yes,
What are they considered now?
dead.
Meat.
They are animated flesh. You've got your life mage sight up, and there's no life.
Okay.
Should I give the like the head lucky coin? Just for fun.
That seems like it'd be a real mean thing to do.
Have fun, Timmy.
Give it an extra 3 dice on its next roll against Timmy's leg.
Maybe it's like Final Fantasy and we need to heal these things.
Yeah, there you go. Use your revive spell and on the ghost train. Okay, so Dewey.
Bring the dead
think-
bear head back to life and then it just doesn't have a body, so it dies again.
Yeah, that might work.
Well, I was even because earlier before the thing blew apart, like I can heal the wounds of an animal and plant, but it's not an animal anymore. So
Yeah, you can't resurrect it though.
yeah. All right. Well, if I can't control it, then I will.
Crossbacks it.
Yeah.
All right, you gonna cross it or backs it?
I think I'm gonna shoot at it.
All right, your crossbow function as a 3 lethal ranged weapon. So
Which part are you shooting at?
I'm gonna deal. The claws or the whatever are still in me, so I'm gonna try to take care of those things.
You're
They're
gonna
near
aim,
me.
You're gonna aim for the limbs that are attacking you.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Selfish.
So dexterity plus firearms plus 1 for your crossbow specialty plus 3 for the weapon. That's a lot of dice. It's a lot of dice. Okay, 3 successes. All right, so you fire a single bolt and pin one of the legs to the. There would be, for a moment ago I said there were no trees, but somehow you find a tree.
A small brush.
Yes,
Pile or something, bush,
you pin one of the remaining legs to a nearby bush, and it stops moving. I don't feel right giving you a second shot in the same turn with only 3 successes, so we'll say that's all you do.
Okay.
So if you'd like to move, you can. Otherwise, we're on to Albacore.
He's successfully taken out 3 of the 6 things.
Three of the 4 legs are all, thanks to Dewey right now.
Yeah.
Albacore?
So he's not moving? Are you moving?
No, I'm good. I'm staying.
Okay.
Stand your ground, man.
All right. So I'm still pinned by the torso.
You are, you are at the moment. You're struggling underneath the torso, so you might want to. You're kind of being grappled. You're going to have to make a strength roll to get out from under it and stand.
All right.
So why don't you roll strength plus athletics?
That's not good.
Strength plus athletics. You could spend a willpower.
All right, let's do that. I will spend a willpower to get 3 more dice, which makes my roll 5.
Hey!
I got 3.
Yeah.
All right. You it's only 130 pounds, so you shove it off and it tumbles a few feet down the hill, and you struggle to your feet, and that's your turn. Now it's the bear parts. There's only 1 leg left, but it extends its claws menacingly toward Dewey, and as much as it's able, emulates the old bear NATO formation without its long-lost friends. And in their memory, it strikes hard and true and does 0 damage.
Nice.
The head is...
good.
It's not stunned anymore. It has its faculties back about it.
It's burnt though.
It is not burnt. Why would it be? Oh, the flamethrower.
Flamethrower.
Yeah.
Is it still on fire?
Let's see here. Let me see. Oh, well, both of its eyes are boiling out of its head, so it is having trouble. It is having trouble detecting you. So it's reduced once again to gnashing blindly in the vicinity. You didn't move away from it or anything, did you? I mean,
No.
that might have been a smart move.
Yeah.
Okay, so it gnashes. And it doesn't whiff completely. 1 damage. Let's see if you can dodge out of the way of that damage. Do a dexterity plus athletics roll.
Oh.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
No damage. The head thrashes uselessly. The torso is now tumbling down the hill and having great difficulty turning around, arresting its velocity, and I think Drew's notion is probably bang on, at least in the case of the torso. It's mostly a rolling adversary. It doesn't have a whole lot it can do about getting uphill.
So we should have just gotten out of the way in hindsight.
Well, the torso, yeah, maybe. So it continues rolling, and of course it's barreling straight toward Kingmaker at this point.
Of course.
But it's got a ways to go, so it's just going to roll this turn. Tim.
I'm going to give the old demo hammer another whack at the head.
All right. Demo hammer is 3 bashing.
Yep.
All right. Strength plus weaponry plus 3. Two successes. That is... Oh, still not enough. Still not enough.
Okay, I would like to back away from the head.
Good call. It's
A reasonable amount.
its eyes have boiled. Its eyes have boiled out of its head at this point, and it's just flopping around, gnashing its huge bear teeth.
Smell him.
Yeah, that's true. It has a nose, so we'll see how it does next turn.
Damn
Good
it,
point.
Chef.
Thanks for pointing that out.
I'm going to spend a willpower to try not to smell very much.
Yeah. Okay, so you move away from the bear head. Kingmaker writhes in pain, and Sammy,
Yeah.
it's your turn.
Okay, so what's still in play here?
The head is still gnashing around on the ground near Tim, though he has moved away from it at this point. There is
It
one leg is pinned to a bush, 2 legs are nowhere to be seen, and the 4th and final leg looks pretty heavily damaged near Dewey. And the torso is rolling toward Kingmaker. It'll be a little while before he gets there.
Okay, I would like to roll Lucky Coin.
Okay. You took that as a rote, right?
Yes.
So what's your dice pool? Oh, Jesus, okay.
That, apparently.
Wow. Okay!
Oh,
5 cents. So you're putting it on your bat, or what?
Yes, I'm putting it on my.
Okay. Let me read that one again real quick.
I'm pretty sure it gives me 3 dice, but I'm not.
It gives you... Well, it feels like such a shame to waste a 5, though.
Oh yeah, that I don't know.
I'm on a 3-dot rote. I mean, I don't want to just... We'll say that such a superb roll means you have not expended your action for this turn, and you can still do something with said bat.
Oh, boy.
Am I in movement range of the torso?
Sure. Of the torso, no.
You're gonna save Kingmaker?
Well,
You're gonna have to sprint to catch up with the torso. And we'll say you get there. We'll say you get there next turn.
okay. Well, then on my way past, because now this is the luckiest bat in creation, I want to take a swing at the head.
On the turn after casting, the targeted object receives an equipment dice bonus equal to the blah blah blah. Oh yeah, it's equal to your fate dots, so it doesn't really matter how many successes you get. In addition, okay, so I mean you rolled an exceptional success, so we'll say you can use this bonus this turn and next turn.
Okay.
So you want to swing at the head on your way past as if you were a jockey on the back of a horse playing polo.
Yeah. Like I did on my 4-wheeler back in Alabama.
All right, swing away.
What am I doing now again for that? It's strength, weaponry plus 3.
Strength plus weaponry plus 3 for the bat plus 3 for lucky coin.
So 8. I look forward to my 0.
All those bonuses, and you're only rolling 8.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 successes. That topples the head. The head is you crack straight through the skull and turn it into a pile of brain mush.
Yay.
My shins, thank you.
And now, and now you're sprinting down the trail after the torso, which is rolling toward poor Kingmaker. And it's Fluke's turn. She does nothing. Dewey.
I'm gonna shoot the other foot.
With your crossbacks.
Yes.
Okay. Dexterity plus firearms plus 1 plus 3 for the weapon.
I think that was what I rolled last time. Yeah.
Jesus.
That's a lot.
2 successes. Yep, that's enough. You crack the last limb was a rear leg, which is it's a longer limb, I suppose. And you crack it right at the knee and split it into 2 pieces.
Sweet.
And they both land on the
attack you.
They both land on the path and bare their teeth. No, the leg is now inanimate. The torso is the only thing remaining, and it's rolling after Kingmaker. And now it is Albacore's turn.
Okay, I'm trying to decide if there's anything at all I can do about the torso.
Are you still laying in the ground?
No, I got up.
Oh, good job.
Yeah.
Well, you could cast Celestial Fire again. There's...
Why don't you cast something that figures out what the fuck's happening with Fluke?
I don't know that I have anything that does that.
See, I had a spell called Interconnections that can reveal themes and connections between people, places, and things. I was hoping I could
I
tether
remember
between-
that.
So, do you have something like that?
I mean, the only thing I think I have would be like sense consciousness, but that would just tell me that she has one. If she has one.
Spoiler!
Oh,
Do that.
All right, I guess I will cast. What was it? Sense consciousness.
that's
right.
not a road, I assume, right?
It's not a road.
All right. Gnosis plus your mind rating then.
I want to also use my high speech.
For +1 dice.
All right, so Gnosis plus mind plus 1 only gives me 3, but
Using high speech makes this vulgar.
Oh,
And this is your second vulgar spell, so I'm going to roll paradox dice.
great.
Okay, go ahead and roll your spell.
Failed.
All right.
Son of a.
Your head feels numb. Your head goes numb and you can't think very well.
that's normal. Don't worry about it. Just shake it off.
And now it's the bear parts. And all that's left is the torso, and it's rolling. So, Tim.
Bandage yourself or something.
I don't have any bandages.
Burn your wounds with your flamethrower.
Yeah, I suppose I'm not in any state to run after the torso.
Well, your shins have been lacerated multiple times, so I'd suggest probably you're correct.
Let's check the old spells.
Get yourself some robot gauntlet leg things.
Yeah, ask Fluke to make you some robot legs.
I don't think we're quite to robot legs yet.
It's never too early for robot legs.
For scrying, do I have to know like a specific location I want to look at? Like the top of the mountain is probably not specific enough.
Good question. Scrying.
The level 2 space.
Yeah. You can view a location remotely. You can employ all of your senses through those perceptual windows that you create. You can smell and sense heat and touch things. You do need a sympathetic connection to the location.
Probably.
So it needs to be a place that you are very familiar with, or that you have a picture of, or that you can see. And you can see the peak of the mountain. In fact, it's technically within sensory range because you can see it. So you could scry up there.
Sure, I'd like to do that. Go on.
Okay. Gnosis plus space. Yowza. 3 successes. All right. You are no longer standing on the path with your group mates, with your strangely enough, your shins still feel like they hurt a whole lot. But all of your senses are telling you that you are now at the top of the peak of the mountain. You are staring down from, well over a mile in elevation. You can see all around the mountain. You can see Sudbury very clearly. You can see Capraole. You can see the tiny little specks of your group mates fighting with the tiny little specks of the bear parts. You can see the tiny little speck of Fluke not doing much.
Bitch.
What would you like to sense with your scrying window?
I'd like to see if there's anything up there, like a person or.
So I say peak. You're probably envisioning a craggy, Mount Everest type triangle. That's not what it is. It's a modest mountain. It has a relatively flat top. There's not a lot up here, as far as trees and animals and so forth. There's really nothing. It's well outside livable range. But you do see a cabin, and you see what looks sort of like a large graveyard with a whole bunch of headstones. You see one very large tree at the edge of the graveyard. And that's about all you can see for now. There's one tree and nothing else living, a whole bunch of gravestones, and a cabin. Okay, so is that it?
Yeah.
All right. Kingmaker is growing increasingly panicked about the flopping mass of bare meat and ribs now tumbling at quite a pace down the mountain toward him, and he shrieks in terror. And it is Sammy's turn.
All right, let's swing the magic bat again.
All right,
At
so
the torso.
so first of all, you're going to continue sprinting in order to catch up,
Yep.
and then you're going to swing the magic bat, which still has some residual from your lucky coin spell. 3 successes. All right. Not enough to splatter it all over the face of the mountain, but you hit it hard enough. If you want to like chip it over Kingmaker and send it down the mountain behind him, you could probably do that.
I would like to do that. That seems wise.
Okay. So the torso goes spinning over Kingmaker's head, spraying gastric juices wildly in a sunflower pattern. And so he gets some of it in his mouth, and he starts to gag. And with a juicy thud, the torso lands behind him and continues rolling down the mountain. And if it could vocalize, you imagine it would sound very frustrated right now.
You know what I'm frustrated about? When it was done and he was dead, I wanted to roll find the hidden hoard and dig around in the app and see if there was treasure.
Well, the torso had more hit points than any of the other parts. And it's currently rolling much faster than you can sprint.
That's fine. It's done for.
All right. Well, it's after our quitting time, so we should probably call it here. Does anybody have any last things they want to do, or questions they want to ask, or things they want to say?
I want somebody to go up and, assault Fluke and find out what the fuck she was doing there.
That's going to take more time than we have left, I think.
Yeah.
I think we
Fine.
should do that next time.
Whatever, in her stuttery way.
Are you making fun
Make
of me?
notes.
Yeah,
Make notes and ask her next week.
Make notes of anything you want to
I
ask
don't know.
her
I
about
kind of
next
want
time.
to. How can I shoot the torso from where I'm at? I just want to make sure it's dead.
It's a ways away. You can try that.
The
Definitely
wolves
not
will
dead.
eat
I
it.
got
It'll
my
be
crossbow.
fine.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got your crossbow. I mean, roll. And you've got the high ground like Obi-Wan Kenobi in Revenge of the Sith. So why don't you roll dexterity plus firearms plus 1 for your specialty plus 3 for the crossbacks, minus 3 for the extreme distance. 0
Wow.
successes. You send a bolt sailing off into the
Off
night.
into the distance.
And it hits Kingmaker.
Son of a bitch! And Kingmaker's dead now. No, you didn't hit Kingmaker, but it was close. All right. Anything else, or are we done? Okay. Good night, everyone. Good night, YouTube.
Right.
Night.